This episode of the Out of the Cave podcast is brought to you by Crown Trophy of Cypress, California. Crown Trophy is your one-stop shop for trophies, medals, crystal rings, and any type of promotional item. They also have the ability to customize your award or promotional item with your logo. See why they're celebrating 25 years of outstanding customer service. Contact Crown Trophy of Cypress for your next awards order. Mention the Out of the Cave podcast and receive 10% off your order. You can find their contact information listed in the sponsor section of our website, outofthecavepodcast.com. And now, enjoy the show.
You're listening to the Out of the Cave podcast with your hosts, Junior and the Captain. This is a podcast where we talk about the things going on in the world and share our opinions without worrying about political correctness. Remember, it's all about respect, keeping an open mind, and always having a good time. Captain, what is going on?
Junior, it's over. The election is over, my man. It's well.
Is it?
No,
is
well,
it over?
Well, the election is over. The results have not come in yet, but the election is over. That's the one thing. At least one thing is over and done with. Now we'll wait and see what the results are, bro.
Well, we've been waiting. We actually made plans to record this week's episode early because we wanted to kind of analyze and talk about the results of the election.
Yeah.
And here we are. We delayed it a couple of days, and we are no closer to having the results.
Yeah. Well, I think it's leaning now towards one particular way, but
But there have been really there
I
really
don't
haven't
know.
been much change in terms of even the electoral count
no, not
for
as,
Biden and Trump. Like, I felt like at 11 o'clock they said, okay, the remaining states are going to be closing down, and I think Trump was at like 214 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then overnight, Joe Biden picked up a whole bunch of votes, and Trump didn't pick up anything.
mysteriously out of nowhere. Out of nowhere they came.
So, very, very
interesting,
curious.
right? Yeah, very
curious to
interesting
me.
what happened there. In all honesty, for me, it didn't go according to the way I thought it was going to be, because I thought that the media was. You know what? In a way, I was right in this sense. I never thought that there was going to be this huge blue wave that was going to just completely demolish
Yeah, the way
every
they predicted
Republican.
it.
Yeah, exactly. That was 100% correct in the way I was thinking about it. I didn't think that we were going to be at this point where we're counting votes and stuff. I thought there was going to be a clear winner. That's what I thought. I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be just a clear winner, whether
that
it be
night.
Biden or Trump. That's the one thing that it was unclear for me, or at least where we are today. No winner yet, and counting every single one of these votes, But that blue wave thing, that shit definitely didn't work, and which goes to show you that the media is full of shit, because they had all these polls with Biden winning by 8, 7, 10, whatever points and all that, and it was nothing like that, man.
Yeah, well, I'm looking here right now. It's November 5th, and Joe Biden, according to one of the media outlets, has 253 to Trump's 213 electoral college votes.
Yeah, the last one that I saw, he had like 260.
Well,
So-
it depends on who you're looking at, but I'm
Yeah.
looking right now. I'm looking at the one I'm looking at, CNN.
No, but
But-
why is it? But that's the thing. Why is it that one would say 253, the other one would say 260? See, well, why?
Because
The-
these are all projections. They're not like the final numbers at this point.
No, I understand that, but still, I mean, if one projects one way, why would the other one project a different way?
Well-
So what is it that they're looking at?
Well, that's one of the problems that I think people were having, because when you looked at the election night analysis,
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time looking at both Fox and CNN,
Mm-hmm.
and although a lot of people, especially Democrats, say Fox News is always like pro-Republican, pro-Trump, whatever,
Yeah.
that night it did not appear like that to me. In fact, it definitely seemed like they were leaning more towards Biden and promoting him a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that they were calling the races
Yeah.
definitely seemed like it was more leaning towards Biden, and even just how they were delivering the message. I noticed that when they were talking about Arizona, they called it early. A lot of people were then giving them crap because no one else was calling it. And again, they're using like a probability index. And when I looked at CNN, I have to say, I think CNN does the best job of all the news outlets that I had seen in terms of the live updates. John King does a really good job of monitoring the board. He's got the experience. And I saw the guy, I think it was Bill Hemmer
Yeah.
on Fox. He looked like he didn't know what he was doing. And even the next day when he was tired after being up all night, they were asking him like tough questions. He couldn't even get the board to work. So I will say for me, CNN had the better coverage. It was more conservative in that they weren't trying to make early calls. And for me, I enjoyed, like, I found myself watching that a little bit more than Fox. And it was funny because now you see all of the feedback, people saying, oh, Fox did like a bad job. And
No,
you know,
but Fox though had the most viewers for the election coverage.
yes.
So they won.
But see,
that
but that's
sense.
interesting because what you were talking about, these numbers, like, all right, so the blue wave didn't happen.
Yeah.
And if you looked at the excitement factor, it definitely seemed like Trump mobilized a lot of his constituency. They were very excited, and you could see that the ballots that came in, or the ballots that came in the day of, like those walk-in voters, it seemed like a lot of those were Trump people.
Yeah.
And it seemed like all the mail-in ballots were Biden, according to what you hear. And the way that they counted it seemed strange, right? Like in some cases, it was the walk-ins first, and then it was the mail-ins, and then it was absent. Like there was no rhyme or reason state to state.
Well, that was the thing. Well, see, what happens is that in some states, they don't, again, every state has their own different rules.
Yeah, they have
right?
different laws. Mm-hmm.
So in some of the states, they were able to count their votes or start counting their votes like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
Right? And some of them, they start counting the votes the day of or not. And like, look.
Which is the case in Pennsylvania.
Exactly. And then you have other states there that now, you look like next week, they either start counting other votes. I mean, it's just weird.
Like the military ballots, things like that.
Yeah, so it should be, in my opinion, it should be everybody has the same rules, man. They shouldn't be different rules for different things because it creates this mess that we're in right now. You know what I mean?
But I don't mind that because that's what's nice about America, right? Like you do still have the individual states, and they have the different laws. And we all come together.
But some work better than others. So why not adopt?
That's always the case.
But why not adopt the rules that work better than the other ones? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying that that's not a good idea. I'm just saying that's part of what makes America so great.
Yes, but that's also what creates this havoc because that's what creates fraud. That's what creates all these.
And that's what President Trump was talking about when he said he didn't like the mail-in ballots. I'll tell you the truth. I still don't have like a lot of faith in that because even when I went to vote, I brought my mother with me, and she actually had her absentee ballot. And so while we were waiting online, people from the election,
they were collecting, right?
They were collecting. They were like, "Oh, do you have?" And so my mother was like, "I'm not giving them my ballot. What if they just throw it away? I don't know what they're gonna do with it."
Yeah.
So she still wanted to go and cast it in person, but then she was like, "There was really nothing stopping me from dropping off my absentee ballot and casting in-person valid vote," which is true. And we were talking about what happens when you start looking at like the number of registered voters on a roll, and then look at the actual like votes that were submitted. And in some
states, it was
Michigan,
like that.
In Michigan, I think it was one of those states where they were like
more votes than registered voters.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's hard to figure out what's a real story, what's not, because what I had seen was actually information from the Michigan State Election Board that had these like statistics, and then I try to find it again, and then the information was gone. And you hear like these weird things, and some people say, "Oh, that was fake," and this wasn't. So it's so hard, and that's the part of it where I think when you say about the laws, this is the kind of stuff that at least that tabulation aspect of it needs to be better.
No,
and we spoke about this in the last podcast, bro. We can land a satellite on an asteroid 200 and 300 million miles away from Earth.
Correct.
The satellite can reach out, collect some dirt, bring it back in, and then turn around and head back to Earth. But we can't count fucking paper ballots in 2 nights. How does that work?
And you know what's actually funny? It's not even like we're counting them one by one. It's a fucking machine. You're just feeding the shit, and it's automatically tabulating the stuff. You know, and we still can't even do that.
I know. Is it Russian interference? Now that Joe Biden's winning.
Now that Joe Biden's winning, is it? Yeah.
There's no Russian interference.
No, now there is, right? And not only that, now that Joe Biden's winning, I haven't even heard anything about this pandemic.
Yeah, nothing about
the pandemic is gone.
Were there no outbreaks from?
So listen, you could take your mask off right now because obviously nothing's gonna happen. It's amazing. All this stuff, no mention of that. I like we were talking about earlier how during the debate, during all this whole process, not one mention of Trump getting impeached. It's just weird, right? Like it's just whatever's the moment, whatever is going on at that moment.
Yeah.
That's what we talk about, and that's it. And yeah, it's weird, right? It's weird. Like we're not talking about pandemic right now.
A lot of Trump's fate is in the hands of the vote count from Arizona, right, or Nevada.
I think it's
Nevada
know what
also.
the last time that I saw this, didn't they call Arizona for? Yeah, you just said that Fox called for Arizona for Biden,
Very early,
but then
but then they pulled it back.
they pulled it back, and now I think right now it's up for grabs again. Is that what I heard?
I thought he
Is
was
that
still
true?
leading. I thought Biden was still leading, but I thought Nevada was still in play, which I thought was hilarious because essentially Trump's fate is in the hands of a bunch of strippers.
So God bless him. Hey, you know what? If anybody I trust them.
Yeah, but I'm wondering maybe Trump should have treated Stormy Daniels a little bit better.
Maybe she's the one behind this whole thing, bro. Yeah, I mean, right now it doesn't appear things are going to be leaning towards Trump. I even just heard him speak not too long ago, and he did. Obviously he sounded very down and wasn't his normal, self where he's like in control. I would have to say that it may be over without it being over yet. But I think, man, this election in itself anyway created more division that all these people were talking about, because I don't think this shit is just not going to finish like this and that's it, bro. There's going to be repercussions everywhere.
Well, look, just to let you know, so in Nevada, Biden has, according to this site, 604,251 votes.
Yeah.
Trump has 592,813.
Okay.
So it's still very close. It's 49.4% to 48.5%.
Yeah.
With 89% of the... Now, is it 89% of precincts reporting or the votes?
I think it's the... Well, no, I think maybe this. It's
The
it has to
precincts.
be. It has to be votes now, right? Because I would think that all the precincts already
I
reported,
don't,
right?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
I don't
Because
know, man.
precincts would mean that there's more hope. And I heard them talking about the math. So if it's precincts, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because when they look at the board, they always show like how it's coming in from the different precincts.
Yeah.
So I think we're talking about how much, like, was this 4,000, like 8 or 9,000 votes. I mean, maybe there's still a chance for Trump. And then in Arizona, wow, the difference is 1.5. So it's 1,528,000 for Biden and 1,482,000 for Trump. So 50.1 to 48.5, and that's with 90% in. So
Yeah.
very, very tight.
I mean, if you look at the Fox site, they didn't pull back Arizona. They still have them.
Yeah, they were pretty confident in their probability.
Yeah. So I think, and that one says 90% in. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let me see, 4, 6. So yeah, about 6. I don't know, man. Let's see here. It's 94, 49.
It's annoying. It's annoying that we still have to be doing this,
Yeah. But see, and the other thing is this. I mean, why only in those particular states? You know what I mean? Like everybody else, their stuff is already done. Look at Florida. Florida was fun. They did a phenomenal job because they had the early voting. They had the early mail-in votes. Florida was the ones that actually pretty much did everything right, man. And you don't hear no problems. Back, remember the what was it? The 2000 election with Gore. Let me see. Who was that? Gore and Bush, right?
Yeah.
Where they had the.
You're talking about the Florida Chads. They fixed their process.
Yeah.
I'm showing you. I just wanted to show you that
Yeah.
real quick because we're talking. I'm handing the captain a tweet from Joe Biden where he says we will continue to have faith and count every vote, but the image on the tweet says
Mantenga la fe. Keep the faith.
Keep the faith. Why is he putting this out in Spanish?
Exactly. And yeah, let's go into the minority, or at least the Hispanic vote.
Which
Listen.
I did say. I said this several podcasts
Oh yeah,
ago.
we've been saying this all along, and the Hispanic vote is slowly turning to the Republican side. I've said this before too, that people are beginning to realize that the Democrats, for a very long time, have been taking advantage of the minority vote.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Democrats better start waking up and better start really analyzing exactly what it is that they're doing, man, because blacks, Hispanics, they ain't stupid people, man. You know what I mean? It might take them a little while to realize that shit, but they're not stupid people, man. And this election, if anything, is proving that. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think, and this is the problem that we discussed with the Democratic Party, is that they're supposed to be so progressive. They've got Hollywood and all this kind of stuff. Yet they treat people with old stereotypes and that's very frustrating for me because, whenever they need to make a point, they always got to talk about like, oh, they're poor. Oh, she's a Hispanic. Is a woman. They always go to that lowest common denominator instead of just treating a person like a person. And I think when they looked at all Hispanics, everyone was like an immigrant, and they didn't realize just how diverse the Hispanic population in the United States is.
Yeah.
People are Cuban, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Venezuelans. They're from all over, and they just treated everyone. They painted everyone with the same brush, which I think was a big mistake for them. Whereas the Republicans, and we discussed this before, you could even see like at the Republican National Convention, they had a lot more Hispanics, and it was just a different
more
story.
real people. Yeah,
more real people.
Democrats are always looking to put on a good show with celebrities, with all that stuff, and in the Republicans, at least this time around, the way you were explaining it before was it's more real people that are the ones that the hard workers, the middle class. They're the ones that haven't, they got the people out there. And not only that, but you go look at the amount of money that the Democrats raised.
Mm-hmm.
And all that money, where was that money coming from, right? From corporations, from celebrities, from all that. This is another one of these things where you realize that money doesn't buy you everything, man, because you saw what happened in the House, you saw what happened in the Senate.
But if you need a better example of that, talk to Michael Bloomberg.
Exactly.
He put $100 million into Texas, Ohio, and Florida. And
was it $100 million? I think he put a lot more.
In the thing that I copied here.
Don't you remember when he was running for president?
Well, I'm just
in 1 month he put, I forgot, $100 million or something.
No,
like
I'm just talking about for Biden.
Yeah.
He put and I'm looking at it right now from the Washington Times. He put $100 million to deliver Florida, Ohio, and Texas, and Trump won all of those. So it goes to show you it's not just about the advertising. It's not just about pushing out a Spanish language commercial.
Yeah.
You really have to be talking to these people. And that's what I think the Democrats made a big mistake. Now, I'm not saying the Republicans are that much better, but I feel like this election cycle, they did a much better job of reaching out.
Yeah.
And the Democrats definitely have to think about that. And here's the other thing. Hispanics need to chill out on each other. Just because someone is a Republican doesn't mean they're a bad person. And I see a lot of that criticizing among the Hispanic population, people that I know, just things I see on social media where they say, how could blacks and Hispanics be voting for Trump? Don't they know that he's racist? And it's not just voting for Trump. It's voting for a set of ideals. You don't know what these people's backgrounds or what their family life is or what's important to them. How are you just going to tell them that they're supposed to vote blue all the time?
I discount those people right away, man, because, like you said, they don't know nothing about my life. They don't know nothing about me. They don't know my background. They don't know nothing. So I discount them right away. To me, those are the uneducated people. And I've told you, remember a couple of podcasts back, I was telling you about how we as a people tear each other down because of our jealousy aspect of it, right? So like if things are going good for one person, rather than to support and say, hey, you know what, let me support this guy because eventually he's going to bring me up and he's going to, help me out. Rather than to do that, we start tearing each other down, And it's like this, so we just had this election. Obviously, it's a 50-50 split, really. Think about it, right? 50-50 split. So now we were talking about the population, right? 300 million. So we have 300 million and 150 million vote Trump, 150 vote Biden. Do we start civil war now? Exactly. Or do we somehow say, hey, you know what? Nice fought battle. All right, let's get back to being friends and let's disregard what just happened because we have to live together, right?
Right.
So is it that way? Is it that we're going to live together, or is it now that we all become enemies and just continue being divided? Because I don't see, in all honesty, just from the talk of the way I see the people now, and on top of that, the Democrats, while Trump is president, they're the ones that start this whole division thing and all that stuff, right? And you against me, and if you don't believe me, then you're not my friend, this and that or whatever. Now Biden is ahead and most likely will become the next president. And now they're talking about we need to come together, we need to heal, this and that. Now it's not about dividing or now we need to come together. Before, no, it was no such thing as coming together and this and that. Now you want to come together. I don't think that the really hardcore people that are supporting Trump, they're not going to fall for that shit, man. And you know what? Just like they made his life miserable for 4 years, I find it hard to believe that the Republicans are not going to make this guy's life miserable, whether it be him or whether he, steps aside and Kamala Harris comes into play or whatever. There is no way that in 4 years that they're going to say, hey, you know what? Let bygones be bygones, and now let's work together. I just don't see that shit happen, man.
Well,
I really don't.
Here's what I think about that. Number one, what you said about Democrats is 100% true. What I don't like, and it's not all Democrats, but a lot of them, especially the ones who are keyboard warriors, so much shit that they've been talking in like the late night talk show guys.
Yeah.
So much shit. I mean, and it actually really kind of is annoying because they're the first ones to say, "Oh, why you mad, bro? Why you upset? Why are you complaining? Oh, now we got to hear Trump complaining." They've been complaining nonstop. I know so many people every day. It's just complaints, comments, and really bad insults. Like really bad insults.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say on the Republican side there aren't people who are like that. And of course, you always get like those idiots who like the white power, like you do get. So there's bad people on both sides.
Yeah,
Don't get me.
yeah.
Democrats say they're anti-racist. There's plenty of those racist people who are like that.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I give you the example
Those
that
are the hidden racists, my man.
but the Central Park lady, remember the guy was just bird watching.
Yep.
Immediately, what did she say? Oh, you're assaulting. I'm calling the cops and saying a black man is assaulting me, right? And I'm pretty sure that lady was not Republican.
Mm-hmm.
So. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm gonna lay odds that I'm not wrong.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
Central Park, white girl. Yeah, she's probably Democrat.
Yeah, I'm gonna lay odds. So there you get those kind of people on both sides.
Yeah.
And so that part of it, what you just said, now everyone is like, oh, we have to get together. I just wonder what tune would they be singing if it was the other way around.
Yeah.
So there's hypocrisy on both sides. But here's the thing: I think with Biden, he's been around for so long, and these Republicans know him. They know how to work with him. I don't know if they're going to go at him as hard because he's like I think what we're going to get is a return to like the good old boy network kind of like I feel like he has been in politics for so many years.
Yeah.
You don't think that it's going to go back? You think he's really going to be like trailblazing and shaking things up? It's going to be like how it used to be.
No. But this is the thing, man. Look at now with, for instance, the AOCs, right?
I think they're going to fade out. I'm surprised that she won.
Yeah, well, come on, dude.
I mean, but it's New York, so.
Yeah, but look, exactly.
Yeah.
New York. So you get, so technically, look, you have another 2 years of the AOC, right?
Yeah.
And the rest of whatever they're called, right?
Yeah.
Them plus the Republicans that are not going to be forgetting none of this shit, they're going to make it miserable for this guy. You know what I mean? They just are, But this is the thing. You just talked about the late night host, right? And all that stuff. We all know, we've all seen, right? Because it's not something that we're just creating. We've seen it. There's something wrong with Biden, cognitive-wise. There's something wrong with him, whether he's, in the beginning stages of Alzheimer's or so. I don't know what it is, but there's something there because we've seen it. It's on video. It's not like we're creating this shit. Are these late-night hosts now, are they going to be making fun of those things?
Right.
Are they going to do that shit?
Is
SNL going to do skits on that? All these late night, are they now going to be saying shit like they were saying? Everybody was saying shit about Trump. Let me see if any of these fuckers say anything like that. See,
I do think that they will.
I don't know, man. I don't think they will. Because I think they sold their souls, bro. And now how do you adjust that? How do you make it right? You know what I mean? They're going to paint. They're going to paint. This is what I foresee happening. And again, it's just my opinion. I foresee this guy not finishing the 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I foresee Kamala Harris somehow, way or another, becoming president.
You mean like Kamala Harris isn't going to wash her hands every day and shake Joe's hands every time she sees him?
Exactly, and sneeze on him. I foresee her becoming president, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're going to create this beautiful narrative, this beautiful story of how, look, the first black woman president, and look at how great things are because she's there. And they're going to paint this huge, beautiful picture for re-election purposes. You know what I'm saying? And they're just going to continue doing that stuff. Why would you tear down that story?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about it with Biden. Why would you intend on breaking down that story when it's such a beautiful story to tell? So that come the re-election aspect of it, who's going to do that? Who's going to do that? All they're going to do is they're going to look at the next Republican candidate Which, by the way, from my understanding and what I've heard was Trump is gonna Trump is gonna come back.
He's gonna come back.
Yeah,
No, you know what?
And he can. You know what I'm saying? So
Here's
why
what
not?
here's my prediction for that.
What's that? Although he's gonna be older, man.
He's
so
gonna
it's
be older. No,
yeah,
but you know what? Who I think is gonna come?
Who?
Can you say Ivanka Trump? How much? I'm willing to bet $100 that she throws her hat into the ring.
You know
of
what?
all
I
the
mean,
Trumps,
yeah.
she's the most presidential-like.
yeah.
She's smart. She's attractive. And throughout this whole time, she kind of always maintained her cool. Like, you never saw her go on the attack like Eric or Don Jr.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, for me, she did a lot of work. Her husband, Jared, did a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I would not be surprised if it was Ivanka Trump. I can't see the Democrats sticking behind Kamala Harris too much if that were even the case. Or let's just say Biden makes it to 4 years.
Yeah.
Kamala couldn't even win the primary. You know, she's a divisive person. I can't see them getting behind her. I'm going to say, for the Democratic side, it is going to be a woman, and I think it's going to be Kristen Sinema from Arizona.
I don't think they're going to give her. I mean, you know what, man? I don't have a problem with her. I just don't see the Democrats accepting her.
That's who I think.
What about Ivanka and Candace Owens
No,
together?
come on, bro. No, come on.
Or Candace Owens and Ivanka?
No.
No?
No.
For Republicans?
No.
Nah.
I don't see that happening.
I mean, they have the knowledge, man.
I don't see that happening.
They have the knowledge.
No.
Nah. Well, you never know, man. Hey, listen, we can't tell the future, so who the hell knows what's going to happen?
I know, but everyone else says shit, so we can make up our own stories too.
Well, that's true. That's true. But that's the thing. I think that the the talk host.
Well, can I just say one thing? One thing you will not see,
Yeah.
or one thing that you will see from the Republican side before you see a Democrat side is a Hispanic candidate. So Ivanka Trump and some kind of a Hispanic vice president running mate
Yeah.
is what I think you would see.
I mean,
I don't think
possible.
you'll see. And if you understand the importance of the Hispanic vote, you get the right candidate. It really will help you. Because you can see right now, Kamala Harris didn't really deliver that many African Americans for Biden.
Yeah. No. You know what? The Democrats really didn't deliver. I mean, listen, here in New York, for instance, you go look at upstate New York, you look at Long Island, that was all Trump.
Yeah.
It was Trump County, man. And
it was a very close race.
The five boroughs is what separated everything else in New York.
It was a close race.
Yeah. So, again, I don't know how many dead people voted in the city.
Or how many double
votes. I don't know. But the Democrats definitely have a problem to me when it comes to minorities. And I'm talking about not just Hispanics. I think the black vote, too. I think they're slowly going to be opening their eyes and realizing that, being dependent and just getting thrown shit at you for free eventually actually don't work, man. You could only get so far when somebody hands you shit, unless you work hard for what you deserve. You ain't going to get nowhere, man.
No, but it's true what you just said. And look, I think the damage has been done when we think about the minority, the bond with the minorities and the Democrats, because they are definitely disconnected and they're living in the past. They're living in, to me, they have stereotypical viewpoints of what minorities are.
Yeah.
And this is an area that, for me, that gets me really upset because, all right, so now let's just say Biden wins and the Democrats come into power. At the end of the day, I want what's best for the country. So whether it's a Democrat or Republican, I'm an independent. There's a lot of neighborhoods that need help. Flint, with their water situation. How many of these neighborhoods have been damaged with all the rioting and the looting? And when the Democrats come in, will they do anything to help these neighborhoods? Will they improve things? I don't know. I'm telling you, I feel like it's going to be the return of Hollywood to the White House.
Yeah.
They're going to be giving themselves a lot of award shows, a lot of pats on the backs, a lot of presidential awards of freedom. Going to be going around people's necks. Probably a lot of singers and things like that, artists. But are they going to do anything for the local people? I hope that the minorities have their eyes wide open and they're looking at who's really doing stuff.
Yeah.
And this is something that's personal for me because I grew up in Brooklyn, East New York, and I was having a conversation with someone and they were telling me that they don't mind the riots and stuff because they think not that they didn't like endorse violence, but what they said was they really thought that protesting is really good. And I don't disagree. I mean, I think people have the right and should voice their concerns the right way. But when you talk about destroying neighborhoods and breaking shit up, that's something that I think needs to stop. And you can't just kind of like say, oh, well, they're exercising their constitutional rights, because at the end of the day, the people who live in that neighborhood, the single mom, the families trying to struggle to get out of the situations that they're in, they have to go to the corner store, or they have to go look for a new store to go to because the corner store is no longer there.
Yeah.
And now maybe they got to take a bus. Maybe they don't have a car. They got to go out of their way to get basic things like eggs, bread, whatever. And when you think about how people, just endorse, expressing themselves, they don't understand the real impact of that kind of shit in those neighborhoods that are already struggling. Kimberly Klacik, she didn't win Baltimore, but she did that little tour in that video. That is true. I've been to Baltimore.
Oh, yeah.
That is true. Now, that is particularly bad, but there are neighborhoods like that all over the country. And in a lot of cases, the example that I use is I remember when I was younger, we didn't really have a lot of money, and I would go to the corner store and get a loaf of Italian bread, some spiced ham. That was a Puerto Rican thing. I don't know. I'd get some spiced ham and juice. And I would have to ask the guy for credit, right? I'd say, hey, it's Monday. Can I pay you on Friday? When my mom gets paid or whatever, and they would send you that credit. That's what you get in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
When you burn down those local shops where they know everyone, and now you just got abandoned buildings, where are these people supposed to be able to get that kind of privilege and get that support?
Yeah.
It ain't happening. It's not going to happen. So when I was talking to someone about this, she admitted, she was like, oh, I don't really know about bodegas. I never really used bodegas.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's because you grew up in like the burbs, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you can have an opinion, but try to open your perspective a little bit, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, see, and so going to that, and I hate, I'm not a divisive person or anything like that, and I hate talking about like the races and all that. Every single time we talk about race, you're just dividing the people more, and that's just how I feel, right? I mean, why even speak about racism? Let's treat everybody the same, and that's it in the story, right? But it's like this, man, and and I notice it. Being Hispanic, I notice these things, and I just don't know how or why other people don't see it. Because I'm not. Listen, I'm not going to tell you that I'm not the most brilliant person in the world, but I notice things, and I notice how fake people are. And when you go look at these riots, and you go look at everything that's going on, let's just say, for instance, all right, and I'll just throw this thing out there, and you correct me if I'm wrong, or at least tell me that I'm wrong. Or if a black cop or a white cop, for that matter, kills a white person, are the black and Hispanic communities going to rally around white people to go and protest because a cop killed a white person? Why are whites, and to me, and it almost seems like that, whites are only doing that shit to kind of like to prove to people, hey, I'm with you. But in reality, they're not with anybody, man. You know what I'm saying? They're for themselves too. And it's all a big show. And that's the shit that pisses me off, man, is that I don't think they're honest about the things that they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because when you do the reciprocal of it, you're not going to get that same support coming back at you your way. It's just not going to happen. That's not the way it is. So why would you, and I'm not saying you can't support each other, but supporting each other means that you support both ways. It's not just, I'm going to support you and yeah, all this stuff. But then when it's on for me and I need help on my end, you ain't getting that kind of support. So it's a fake type of support that these people that they're right, and that's the shit that pisses me off, because people don't realize that, or people, I guess they're so brainwashed, man, into thinking that, one, that they have to do that, and or two, that, hey, you know what? That's right. They really are for me. Like I'm telling you, man, I really like in politicians in general. For me, I don't believe they're for anybody other than for their own pockets. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's just, I mean, again, with Trump becoming president, he stood to gain absolutely nothing by becoming president. Why? Because the guy's already a billionaire. It's not like when Obama became president, he wasn't a billionaire, but now he's a billionaire or a millionaire, right? Why? Because the guy is president, and now he has all this money getting thrown at him for speeches or just for being the president of the United States, right? This and that. And now he's a millionaire. But nobody, all these politicians, to me, they're not there for anybody but themselves, man. It was just like a Pelosi, right? Why are you in government for 50, 60 years? For what? Tell me what the reason is for being there 50, 60 years.
These people, they like power.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's just about power for them. It has nothing to do with communities. It has none of that shit. That is the reason why there should be term limits everywhere. Just like there's term limits for a president,
Yeah.
there should be term limits for the congressmen, for senators. They definitely should establish that shit and get fucking people out, because every single time you have a person that's going to go in there for 2 years, 4 years, or whatever, and that's it, and you could only do it 4 times, they're going to go in there and really fight for the people, because they'll be like, yo, I only got a certain amount of time to do it, just like a president, right? So why don't they do that, man?
Well, no, I think you asked a good question, and that's why I think tying it back to what we were talking about, I think especially for these for the minorities in these communities, they really need to be asking, okay, now you have Joe Biden in there. What is he going to do for the community now? To your point. All right, so now let's just say the rioting stops, right? Because, you don't have a racist president, as people say. You don't have a racist president in office. So now what happens when there's a shooting or something like that in the neighborhood? Like, how do you clean it up? A few weeks ago in Brooklyn, Bushwick, there was a kid who was, I think, visiting from, I don't know, Indianapolis or something. A white kid sitting on the stoop, and he caught a stray bullet and was killed.
Correct.
Where's the outrage on something like that?
Yeah.
That could happen to anyone, white, black. But where was the outrage on that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
What are they doing to clean up the streets? New York City is suffering, and it's going to be suffering. So what are they going to do? All right, so now Biden's in. What is he going to do to change things?
Well, he already solved the pandemic, dude, so I'm sure he's going to be able to say that.
But this is what I'm going to say. I mean, so now I hope that all these people who were rioting and doing all this stuff, and like you said, white people, black people, whoever, like, I hope that they keep that enthusiasm going, because, all right, so now you got Biden in office. If you think about it, Trump, if he's out, he's a rich guy. He's going to be okay.
Yeah.
All these politicians, they're rich. All these celebrities, the actors and everything. I saw someone on on Instagram posting a video. They were celebrating Biden's win by drinking a glass of rosé overlooking the Napa Valley from their beautiful mansion. Those people, they're going to be okay. So now, if you look at your situation and you're living in one of these cities where everything's boarded up, things are, you got
Being
bums,
destroyed and
you got
stuff,
bums
yeah.
in the street, you got drug use, you've got, no businesses open. How is your life better? And so now the question has to be, what are you going to do to make these politicians, now they're in office, keep up their end of the deal? So I think the next 4 years are going to be very, very interesting, because I want to see if people hold them accountable, or are we just going to pat ourselves on the back?
Well, but that's the whole thing. Like, with like you just said it, with celebrities, everybody, supporting, and this, again, they support from afar, bro. They're not the ones that are living in these places. They're not that, they're not the ones that have to go to a bodega. They're not the ones that have to do this shit. And then, support, riot, go, break, and all this shit. Yeah, meanwhile, guess what? No one's breaking down their shit. They got private security. They have all the luxuries in the world. And yet, yes, they encourage all these people to go out there and fucking, go ahead, do what you got to do, stand for your right.
Mm-hmm.
But they're the ones that are all the way back there, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the point I'm trying to make as minorities, right? You need to begin to open your eyes and realize that none of these people have their best or your best interest. They just don't, man. You know what I'm saying? They're just fucking nobodies. They're just a celebrity that got fucking lucky, and maybe they're talented to perform in a movie or whatever. But that's it, man.
No, but
it's not,
there are some who I think have a good heart. They have a good heart.
But there you go. You just said it. Some. And that's the point I'm trying to make, man, is that out of all these fucking people that talk, it's only a handful that really do have the public's best interest. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
there's
some that are still connected.
Wilmer
Valderrama.
Yeah,
come on. We got to support Wilmer Valderrama.
No, of course. But he's also Latino. He's Hispanic, and he's been through that shit, right?
Yeah, but he supports his community.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But these people, the some that you're talking about, you never hear about them.
No.
You never hear about their
They don't get the headlines.
Exactly. You don't hear about their hard work. You don't hear about all that stuff. You only hear about the fucking assholes that are out there doing that shit, that supporting and this and that, but they could care less about anything like that. Listen, you could be burning down fucking buildings and you can have all this shit. I could guarantee you this, bro. I could guarantee you this. If a brand new movie came out and they're going to do a movie premiere, there will be a red carpet event, to open up this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you have all these celebrities in nice dresses and all this shit going to these movies while there's fucking rioting and all that stuff. I guarantee you that shit, man. Who's going to stop from doing that? Because these people, again, from afar, Yeah. Hey, by the way, don't ruin our fucking premiere and shit because we're about to open this movie and shit, and we want to look glamorous and have a nice after party and all this shit.
Yeah, no, it's like,
That's
hey,
how they are, man.
They're gonna be like,
These-
yo, we'll meet downtown to do the protesting, and then they're like, yeah, great job. Hey, let's take this uptown. They're like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
wait
I
a
think,
minute.
I think we did enough for today, guys.
Exactly. And listen, I know. Listen, I kind of like sound like I'm very angry and stuff, but I am because I just people need to begin to open their eyes to the fact that there's just too many fake people. And the same thing with listen, we've been talking about this with our friends on Facebook and all that stuff, right? How so many of them talk so much shit, yet we grew up and we went to college and with all these people that we know their background, dude. We know, listen, we know the good and the bad that these people have done, and they know ours, right? But these are the ones that all of a sudden are now becoming preachers and shit, and they're telling us that this is the right way of doing things, this and that, yet we know all their skeletons in their closets and shit, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that pisses me off, bro, because the majority of the people today, it's all about, oh no, I need to be inclusive and we need to do this and all that. Hey, you're against me, so fuck you, this and that or whatever, you know? And they just forget about the real issue aspect of it that, you know, I said I brought this point up a long time ago, and I was talking about Johnny Cochran. I think I had mentioned it to you at one point, that Johnny Cochran was a phenomenal attorney, right? But Johnny Cochran also was afforded a lot of white lawyers that took him in and taught him a lot of stuff too. Aside from the fact that the guy was brilliant and went to good schools and all that stuff, he learned a lot from white attorneys, from white people that gave him the opportunity, and the chances to be a great attorney, you know. And fast forward after that, he he had his own company and he was just a great attorney, right? But is he now going to pass on everything that he learned from the white guy and then at least give that white guy at least some credit for where he is today? Obviously, you know, he's already passed away, so we don't know, and I really don't know the answer to that. But from what I've been saying in regards to me as a Hispanic, we won't do that, man. We won't do that because we get brainwashed into thinking that, hey, you know what? If I teach this guy everything that I know, he's going to at one point overthrow me from where I'm standing. So why would I do that? Let me give this guy just enough information that he's going to climb the ladder. But then listen, I can't let him get on top of that last rung to where I'm at. You see what I'm saying? And we always do that. And that's, I'm talking about it as what I've seen, you know, in regards to like the Hispanic community, what I've seen in the black community. I told you, remember Anita Hill trying to tear it down, you know, Clarence Thomas and stuff, right? And he get to the top. Now you're trying to tear this guy down. Hey, no, I got to make sure that he doesn't get up there because I'm not up there. So why should he get up there, right? But that's the way, to me, the way the Democrats operate all the time. They give you just enough for you to think that you're going to make it to where I'm at. But I'm going to feed you up to this point. And after that, yeah, I can't give you the secrets into how to make it into that last step. You know, you understand? And that's the shit that aggravates me.
But I was going to say, I think that, I mean, it is true that I think a lot of Democrats are like that. I mean, I think that for Republicans, it's probably a similar kind of a thing. Which is why I think Trump did something that was interesting because he was an outsider, a businessman. And when he went into the situations, he looked at it from a businessman's point of view, cost benefit analysis, what am I going to get from it? What's the return on investment? I think he looked at a lot of situations like that and he shook things up. And so that's why when he was having the conversations with like Ice Cube and they came up with like the Platinum Plan, I felt like he was always, and again, I it's not like I work with him. But I know lots of groups who have had opportunities to meet with him, right? He got NAACP awards and stuff like that in the past. As a businessman, he was able to kind of go into the situation and make everyone feel welcome and kind of conduct business through negotiations. Politicians today, they don't negotiate anymore. They don't compromise. I would not be surprised if in the future we see another businessman, maybe who will act a little bit more presidential, come in and maybe take the presidential office again, because I do think, if anything, Trump has transformed how politics will work in the future and shows kind of that the path, and in the U.S. there is a path for anyone to become president, even if you're someone who's like a reality TV show star. And again, I'm not discounting maybe the votes get tallied and he comes into office, But I do think there's a lot of lessons to be learned. And to your point, at the end of the day, people have to open their eyes and really vote with their brains and figure out what's important to them. And shut the fuck up. Don't judge other people for their votes. Just kind of coexist, so this way everyone can just have a happy life.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you look at the like Facebook and Instagram and all that, people start posting this thing. If you are for this and you are for that and you are for this, then you have to vote this way or whatever, right?
Yeah. Or if you vote for, the one that I saw was, if you vote for a racist pig, then you're against me. Unfriend me. I don't want to know you.
Yeah.
Oh,
but they go on into, if you're for this, if you're for that, if you're for this, if you're for that. But they're throwing that shit at me where it's like, oh, look, you have to vote a particular way because of this, and that, whatever. But yet they don't think about how it's impacting me. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's impact.
That's what I mean.
It only impacts me, but
people look at it from one side.
And that's it. You know what I mean? So they could care less. And these are all fake people. Man, again, that's why I discount them right off the bat, because I just don't.
Captain is heated. Captain is heated tonight.
I can't, man. I can't. Listen, I like a football game. I like a baseball game, a basketball game where two teams come to play and someone's going to win. Someone's going to hit the three-pointer. The other one, right, is going to pick six, touchdown. And that's it. You have a clear winner. They both went out there and did the best that they could. And that's it. There's a winner. End of story. When you get into this politics nonsense, bro, there's no clear winner like that. No matter which way you look at it, there is not a clear winner, because there's just so much bullshit involved that you just can't legitimately say that there's a clear winner. And then people accept the fact that, hey, you know what? They actually played a lot better than the other team. And they came out stronger. They really wanted it more. In this particular case, it's not like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if the team that you're supporting wins, I could look at, for instance, I voted a particular way, right? And I said, you know what? I'm so happy that I voted the way I did, this and that. We're going to win this thing, right? And then all of a sudden, guess what? We win. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think we played. How did we win? We didn't play the way we were supposed to play. I guess we got the right outcome, but I don't feel comfortable with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how it is in the politics, man, and especially this time around.
Well, you know what else I think we have to do, not to change it up on you a little bit, but I was thinking, if you looked at the how close the results are between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, you look at some of those like third-party candidates, like the Libertarians, Joe Jorgensen. Joe Jorgensen was like racking up 60,000, 70,000, 80,000 votes in a lot of like states and parties, and I was like, if I were Joe and Donald Trump, I'd be like, who the F is this Joe Jorgensen person? Like, get him off the fucking ballot, man. Joe was like racking up a lot of votes.
I need those votes, man.
Yeah, at this point, they need those votes. They should reach out to all of those people and say, since Joe wasn't going to win, Joe Jorgensen wasn't going to win.
Yeah, give me those votes, man.
Who do you want to give those votes to?
Yeah.
Did you know about Joe Jorgensen?
No, I didn't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you look,
I knew about the guy from the Mighty Ducks, that actor. What's that guy's name?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, but wasn't he? I don't know if he was in any of those state.
No, but Joe Jorgensen was in a lot.
Yeah.
Look up Joe, but like 60,000, 65,000.
Yeah.
Biden or Trump could have used those votes. They should.
Absolutely.
I could have like sent out an email campaign to all those people who voted for them and said, since Joe Jorgensen didn't have a chance in hell of winning, can you please pick Joe Biden or Donald Trump? And I could have gotten email results back faster than what it is for these states to count their ballots.
That's true, man. It's true,
Captain.
Yeah, we're in a messed up situation. I think we're in a messed up situation for the next couple of years, man. I really do.
I mean, look, I'm optimistic. I hope that at the very minimum, we get enough of these crybabies to stop crying about stuff, and maybe we get a little bit of semblance of normality.
Well, we're gonna see, man. I mean, if the same shit continues, then I guess obviously Donald Trump wasn't the reason for it. You know what I mean?
We'll see. And now, well, the economy was doing good, so hopefully they're not going to say, well, I inherited a bad economy. Hopefully they'll come in and maybe things will continue. I mean, we got to deal with the pandemic still.
Yeah. Well, as far as the economy, they were saying that
joblessness was down again.
Well, But I'm saying that they talk about today, yesterday and today. The Dow's been going up, dude, and they
Yeah.
were saying that that's a result of
Biden coming in.
well, no, but they were saying it was a result of Biden coming in,
Mm-hmm.
but also the Republicans remaining in the Senate,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And not only that, but they also picked up seats in the House.
Yeah.
So they were saying that because of that dynamic of because of all these things that were going on, the economy now, they again with the Senate, with the Republicans in the majority of the Senate, they're going to be controlling a lot of the shit that these people thought that they were going to just pass through. They're going to be able to. They're going to be able to put a stop on that shit.
But here's the last thing I'll say about the Republicans. It's not like they were always 100% behind Donald Trump.
No, of course not.
And
The
they
first
didn't
2 years were
They didn't
up.
make it easy for him. So, I'm glad Mitch McConnell won. Fucking guy's been there for great. Good for all those guys. But they're all going to keep doing the same shit they always did.
No, of course.
To me, they had a chance to really pull back and say, look at how did this guy win? What can we do to make things better? So, all right, so we picked up a couple of seats. Maybe we can, continue to change our approach. Will they do that? Will anyone say that?
Yeah,
I don't
only
know.
time will tell.
That's why I say they all know how to deal with Joe Biden. They're going to do normal politicking as it used to be. Will the American people benefit? Remains to be seen. And we got 4 years to figure it out because Kanye is on the ballot for
you
the
think
next.
so? I think I'm going to go. I
2024.
think the captain's going on the ballot next time. What do you think, man?
Well,
At least maybe as governor of New York. What do you think?
No, I mean I think you'll do better than Joe Jorgensen.
You think so? Nah, I don't know, man. I think maybe the captain will be running for office as far as here in New York.
Yeah, well,
We got to start somewhere, right?
I wish you
If
luck.
AOC can make it into the Congress, I can make it into governor, bro.
I wish you luck. I will be there.
I'm gonna turn this state yellow because it's gonna be independent.
I'll be your sign language
Right?
interpreter.
That'd be a good one, right? and we're gonna give that a big fu, and they would just like right the middle finger. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll have captain as the governor and junior lieutenant governor, and then we'll just switch it up, bro.
Yeah,
halfway through,
that'll be fun,
right? Why not? Fuck it,
bro. We are
party time in Albany.
We are at the end of the podcast.
We are shit.
Time went by as usual. It goes fast. We hope you like today's special podcast. This isn't really a special edition, but we definitely focused on the election because we don't know much more than you do from the night of the election, but we're going to be following up and see what happens. Hopefully by the time we have our next episode, we will know who's the president of the United States. In the meantime, thank you for checking us out. Go to outofthecavepodcast.com. You can find the links to all the platforms that we're available on. You can also find the link to our sponsor, Crown Trophy of Cypress, California. Thank you, Crown Trophy, for supporting us.
Also, Crown Trophy, they don't just deal with the California area. They ship throughout the United States. So anybody that's outside of California, go to the Crown Trophy site, and by all means, they will be more than happy to help you out with your award needs.
That's right. You can also buy us a coffee. If you like the show, you can support us by buying us a coffee. There's a link to that on our website. Again, outofthecavepodcast.com. You can find us on Instagram at outofthecavepodcast.
I don't mean to interrupt you, man, but I was going to say maybe the captain shouldn't be drinking any more coffee.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
maybe give Junior some cups of coffee because I think the captain has had too many today.
No more coffee for you. But you can find us on Instagram at Out of the Cave Podcast, and you can find us on Facebook at Out of the Cave Podcast as well. And if you go to our website, there's an area for you to leave us some feedback, or you can email us at suggestions@outofthecavepodcast.com. Let us know what you think. Big shout out to all our fans, and we've got fans from all across the world. We have fans in France. Thank you so much. Australia, Germany, Russia, Albania. We really appreciate all of our fans, and of course, our big ups to our fans in the U.S., our fans in California, New York, and Florida. We really appreciate all the love and support, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully you will stay with us and enjoy the ride.
Yes, absolutely. And one more thing, as always, because we didn't throw them out this time around, but big shout out to the Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia.
And my Bills playing Seattle this week, so let's go Bills. Let's take them down.
Go Bills. Thank you, everyone. This was episode 15.
15 is in the books.
It's in the books.
That's it. Have a great week, everyone.
Take care.
All right.